Hello students. So today we are going to do the solution of class 12 science C biology question paper, means the question paper which came in the term 1 exam for the integrated section of class 12. So the previous first 16 questions were the objective type. So I am coming directly to the section B, and that section B carries the questions of 2 marks each. If you come to the first question here, the question is given the chromosome number of a spore mother cell of angiosperm is 38. What will be the chromosome number in its endosperm? So if we come to here, the spore mother cell, I hope you are aware that spore mother cell is found to be a diploid cell. It clearly means the 2n is equal to 38. It means n equals to 19. And in the question, now it is asking about the endosperm cell. I hope you are aware about this endosperm cell. It is found to be triploid. So 3n. So if n equals to 19, so 3n will be equal to 57. So that is a very simple question. Now the second part of the same question number 17 is, banana is a true fruit and also a parthenocarpic fruit. Justify. So here basically we have to define these two terms. The first is here true fruit and second is here the parthenocarpic fruit. So if we come to definition of these two, here we can easily see true fruit simply means those fruits in which the food or the nutrients for development of embryo is stored in ovary or any of its part. So here if you see the banana, in this case whatever part is edible, that is the stored food, and that stored food is nothing but the part of ovary itself. It is mostly the mesocarp and endocarp. So as the food is being stored in the mesocarp and endocarp, so we are calling it true fruit. But at the same time we can find banana is a seedless fruit. So due to absence of seed, we can also call it a parthenocarpic fruit. So these two features it is showing simultaneously, the one being true fruit as the food is stored in parts of ovary, and being parthenocarpic as it is a seedless fruit. Now we come to question number 18. A fully developed fetus initiates its delivery from the mother's womb. Explain. See, we have studied about the fetal ejection reflex. Once the fetus is completely developed, then it is the structure. The fetus itself works to initiate the reflex for its own rejection. So when there is complete development of fetus, there is initiation of fetal ejection reflex, and that reflex is assisted by different changes. These changes includes the hormonal changes and the muscular changes. The hormonal changes is that at this level we will find that there is release of high level of oxytocin. That oxytocin causes the contraction of uterus. At the same time, there is also release of relaxin, and that relaxin works for relaxation of the wall of cervix and vagina. So that is helping, means one way the uterus is being contracted by the oxytocin, at the same time the passage through cervix is being relaxed. It is assisting the easy passage of fetus or the newborn. So this way we have to explain this question. Give reasons for the following. Why can a woman generally not conceive a child after 50 years of age? See, when we come to the sexual age in case of human, there is a difference in male and female. In case of males, once puberty is started, it continues throughout life. Means if at the age of 13 or 14 years the puberty begins, then it continues throughout life in a male. But the story is different in case of females. In females, the age of puberty that begins at the age of 12 to 13 years, it extends only up to the 45 years of age. So beginning, that is called as menarche, the end, that is called as menopause. So as the whole process of this menstruation, the whole process of this menstrual cycle, the whole process of development of primary follicles and the ovum, it takes place only during this duration, that is the duration from menarche to menopause, and that ends at 45 years of age. So definitely there is little possibility for any female to conceive at the age of 50 years. So that we have to explain here. Next, polar bodies are formed during oogenesis and not during spermatogenesis. Actually, it is an observation based, but we can define it. The definition is simply here at the level of cytokinesis. There is meiosis 1, then meiosis 2. If I come to its explanation, suppose there is the cell, egg mother cell. That egg mother cell, when undergoes meiosis 1, then on meiosis 1, during the process of cytokinesis, this cytokinesis is found to be unequal. So we have to simply use the term there is unequal cytokinesis. So here two cells are formed. Again, when it undergoes meiosis 2, of course the meiosis 2 is delayed here. So when again it undergoes meiosis 2, again there is formation of one larger from this one smaller, and this smaller is forming 2. So overall finally we are getting here one egg cell and the 3 polar bodies, and the explanation is only related to unequal cytokinesis, which is the part of meiosis in case of the process of oogenesis taking place in a female, or also taking place in plant body during the process of megasporogenesis. So whether you are observing oogenesis in a human female or you are observing megasporogenesis in angiosperms, the processes are similar. Now see the next question. The next question, number 19, that is differentiate between pleiotropy and polygenic inheritance. Very good question, and it is very important. Differences is there. See, you have studied about the pleiotropy and you have also studied about the polygenic inheritance. But if you remember there, in case of pleiotropy, what you find, the example, you just remember the example of sickle cell anemia. In that case, HbA allele, HbS allele. So the first point of difference is that pleiotropy is an interallelic interaction, whereas polygenic inheritance is an example of intergenic interaction. What I said, this pleiotropy is interallelic, and if we come to this polygenic, then it is an intergenic. That is the first point of difference. At the same time, we should also define here, pleiotropy is basically a gene having multiple effects. Gene is one. If you remember the sickle cell anemia, in that case there was the single gene, that is HB. Of course, this HB gene is found in two different alleles that can be called as the HbA and HbS. Again, the just two alleles, but they have multiple effects. Multiple effects means what? Normal for sickle cell anemia, normal for malaria. Again, the condition is there, normal for malaria but sickle cell anemia. There is one more condition, that neither having sickle cell anemia nor having malaria. So basically in that African population, we are finding the inheritance of this multiple effect. But if you come to the number of genes and alleles, there is just one gene having just two alleles. So that is the case of pleiotropy. But if you come to polygenic, the name itself shows if any character is under control of many genes. See, what is the point of difference? प्लियोट्रॉपी में वन जीन हैविंग मल्टीपल इफेक्ट, पॉलीजेनिक में one gene is not there, there are multiple genes working for one character, multiple genes working for one character. Say for example the human skin color, that's a one character, and that one character is under control of three different genes, the A, B and C. So this way we have to define it. Now we come to the question number 20. That's a very simple question. In case of this lambda, bacteria lambda, the total number of base pair given is 48502, and you are aware about the distance. Means suppose if we are drawing one DNA, suppose it is one base pair, it is another base pair, the separation between these two base pair is found to be 3.4 angstrom. So if there are 48502 base pair and two base pairs are separated through this distance, and if we have to find out the length of a DNA molecule, so we have to simply divide it by 3.4 into 10 to the power minus 10. 1 angstrom is equal to minus 10 meter. So the answer which will come, that will be the length of that DNA in meter. Now we come to question number 21. A DNA segment has total of 1500 nucleotides, out of which 410 of them are guanine containing nucleotides. Very simple question. I hope you all have must done it. So if we come to the question, see, there are total 1500 nucleotides, and if there are 410 nucleotides containing guanine, then definitely we know the C will be also 410, because the pairing always takes place in between guanine and cytosine. So if guanine is 410, definitely the cytosine will also be 410. So these two total nucleotides, that is equal to 820. If 820 is the GC pair, then definitely remaining will be 80. So if we come to 80 pair, what will be the total number? The 80 pair will be 1500 minus 820, means it will be equal to 680. So 680 is the total 80 pair. So total 80 pair means what? Here if you see, so adenine will be also here 680, 340, it is 340, half. So here we can say, if we come to the total count, guanine is 410, cytosine is 410, this adenine is here 340, that is 340. So you have to count this one plus this one plus this one plus this one, that comes to 1500. So we have all the count. Now we can just see what is the question. Now the question is, how many pyrimidine bases does this DNA segment possess? You are aware about this 4, that purine includes adenine and guanine, and pyrimidine includes what? Cytosine and thymine. So if the question is only related to the pyrimidine, we have to count only the cytosine and thymine. So how many cytosine? 410. How many thymine? 340. So 410 and 340, that comes to 750. So there are 750 bases of containing pyrimidine. Draw a diagrammatic sketch of a portion of DNA in support of your answer. Very simple question. If you have to draw it, simple, the two lines needs to be drawn. This line is actually representing the nucleotide. So here if you see, we can have the G here, then C here, then if it is A, then it is T, and here we have to represent them through this hydrogen bond. So this small segment is there. If you want, you can also draw it in detail. So that is the diagrammatic sketch of that particular portion. So in this video, we have done these 10 questions of the section B, each having 2 marks. In the next video, we will do all the questions of 3 marks. Thank you.